Welcome to the Mary D. Welch Show featuring host Mary D. Welch.
Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. This is our last show for this year. Can you imagine that? For this year, 2020, we're down to the days, and well, some people are down to the hours. But here we are at the last show. I can tell you this is exciting, and at the same time, I think some people just can't wait for this year to come to an end. They're like, let's just get 2020 over. Honest, I don't feel like that. I really don't. I think every single day is such a blessing. Every single day, every single second, it is a blessing. So I'm not rushing it. I'm just thanking God for it. So that's how I feel about it. I know today we have a guest coming on. She'll be on a little later. Some of you may know of this renowned dancer who's she's from the Inland Empire community, but she's made her way around the world. Her name is Danielle Hobbs. She's going to be a guest on the show a little later on today. She's going to come to you and really share with you some of the things that what dance has done for her, the places she's gone. Hi there, Vanessa. Hi, sweetheart. The places she's gone due to dance, the people she's met, just how dance has changed her life. And in addition to that, she's an author. She's also a writer. Obviously she's an author, she's a writer, but she's written scripts. She has a movie that she's the executive producer. I mean, just so many good things with Danielle. And I'm going to have her as a guest on later on in the show. But I wanted to have a little time to talk to you guys, because normally when the show starts, I'll get a chance to just do some one-on-one. But I wanted to do that, to really, thank you, Deborah. You're right. I appreciate that. Thank you, sweetheart. That's Deborah Moore saying that. So, hi, Diane. All these familiar faces. Hi, everybody. I tell you, it is, and I can never get enough of that. Let me just tell you now, whenever you guys say hi, just know that my heart reaches back to each and every one of you. Every one of you that takes the time out of your day. Hi there, Richard, that takes the time out of your day to say hello or just spend some time with us on the show. This show, I know some of you may say, oh, it's an internet show and everything. If you only knew what goes on behind the scenes, we want you to have a quality show. We want you to have every person that has been a guest on this show has literally been handpicked for you. These are people that we feel that you would like to hear from, that you would like to enjoy spending some time with. And so we reach out to them. And do you know 100% has said yes. Can you imagine that? They've all been so gracious. Every single person that you've seen on this show has graciously accepted, been excellent guests. I get so many comments at the end of the show, which I never really showed to you guys. But anyway, I hope the guest is on the show and the text messages are coming through. They're coming through my phone at the end, and they're telling me that what they learned, or they appreciated the guests, or they appreciate the time. It has been, it's heartwarming. It is heartwarming what you guys say. I can tell you. And now I'm not saying that we're perfect. We know we're not. But one thing we care about you. We care about you. We want you to know that this show is for you. If you have things you'd like to recommend, we're going into 2021. You can send us an email. I don't know if my email's up there. My email's not up there, but let me give you my email. For those of you who want to communicate with me by email, it's Mary, Mary, at firstbookacademy.com. Mary at firstbookacademy.com. And you can send me an email. You send the email to that address, Mary at firstbookacademy.com. If you have, maybe you have comments, I would hope that they're nice. Nobody wants negative. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you have constructive, they say constructive criticism, I'm very open to that. I don't want you to get the wrong impression. I'm one of these people. I always can get better. I'm not a seasoned veteran, but I am someone willing to learn And each and every time we have a show, I try to make it a better show. I try to make it, I try to work on my skills on interviewing. And what I'm learning is that learning curve is real. This is an avenue. Many of you know I was a teacher for years. I never even thought I'd ever be in this field. I never thought I'd be broadcasting. I never thought I'd be on a show. None of these things that I ever think of. So it's all, I'm just like anybody else. And even when people have studied, you still have to go through a learning curve. You still have to learn your trade. You don't just go in knowing everything. That's why they call it that experience. That's what it is. When people get that experience and they really hone in on what they're doing and how they're doing it. But you can only get it by doing it. There is no way. When I see professional athletes, and I watched actually a gentleman years ago. He was training to try out to be on a professional football team, and he kept doing the same thing over and over and over again too. What do they call it? Muscle memory, to the point that he didn't have to even think about it, and he could do it. It wasn't even a thought, and he could do it. And I think that's like anything we do in life. You just take your time. You do it over and over until you get better and better. And you see the seasoning of professionals and how they do things. And all that takes time. But it's a learning curve. It's definitely a learning curve. But I did want to find out too, for many of you, I hope you had a wonderful holiday. I mean, Christmas was just a few days ago. Then now we're approaching New Year. So we have gone through, as we know, this time of the year is, it used to, well, it was, I say last year, it was a big party time. For us, I was just mentioning to the producer, Brian, I said, Brian, this was a different Christmas this year. Normally, my husband and I, we have the children and the grandchildren, and there's a whole lot of noise and people, and we're watching the game and food everywhere, that kind of thing. It wasn't like that this year. It was very quiet. It was very quiet. It was so different. But at the same time, it feels like a reset. It feels like a reset for us. It feels like something is resetting. And maybe we just need it this time. Maybe, I guess most people I've talked to, they experience the same thing. They may have had a couple of people, but not many, not what they're used to. They're used to a party or a get together, a gathering, all of those things. And this year, I haven't heard anyone say they had a gathering of a group of people. It was always very small, very intimate. And because, as we all know, this year would be a year we will never forget. In fact, nothing in history I don't think will ever compare to this year. We have experienced and still experience a loss of life like we've never experienced in my generation or any generation that I know. That a friend of mine told me, it was a family friend, and she's in her 90s, and she said she's never seen anything like this. And so we are grateful, thankful and grateful to be alive, but also very much aware that this virus, we'll never forget this. But the virus is only one aspect of what we've gone through in 2020. But I think it was like, it has been just the one thing I think, just it encompasses what the year has been for us as a society on this planet. We've been through a lot. And then the virus, well, we've been through it, we're going through a lot. And then we had the deaths of two innocent people. And that's just the two. Don't get me wrong, there's more than just those two. Those two are telling you they're the ones that we call their names. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor are the two you hear most often. They are not the only two by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, there's so many until we can't even begin to name them. This year, we call it social unrest. I don't know if it's social unrest or just in society we're bringing forth what was already there anyway. That's what I think it is. And so it's the showing that what is there. What I would like to say too, and I will come back a little later and talk about that, or try to come before the end of the show. But just keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I know we hear the statement, keep hope alive and those things, but the truth of the matter is we have to. And we have to keep going forward too. We have to keep fighting whatever battles we have to fight. We don't just sit back. I know we don't see the marches as we did before, but I hope that in everyone's heart, we're still going forward with the things we need to do in society to make changes. We can't stop because time is marching on for all of us. And with that, I'd like to say our guest is here. She did make it, and she's coming to us today. And I'd like to introduce to you this world-renowned, beautiful, beautiful young lady. She is a international dance. She's not just locally, but internationally. But she's trained. She's worked with some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry. One being Beyonce. She was Beyonce's choreographer. She is now touching lives in a different way. She's touching the lives of our young people. This beautiful, beautiful young lady, her name is Danielle Hobbs. I'd like to introduce you to her. Danielle, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I made it. Yay. Glad I made it.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. I heard you talking about community activism stuff while I was getting everything together with the technology, but happy Kwanzaa Day 3, and this is the day of community and doing the right thing to build communities and structures and whatnot. So I'm glad I came in while you were speaking up on that.
Oh, good. Welcome. It's so nice to have you. As you know, well, the audience doesn't know this, but I've known Danielle, oh my goodness, since you were about 15 or 16?
Yes. Coming from Eisenhower High School.
Yes. And that was.
Yes. And it's very small because you come from Eisenhower High School, but being from San Bernardino, you either went to Loveland or you went to New Hope Missionary Baptist. And you went to Eisenhower or you went to Cajon or you went to Purdue. But everybody that had my mom as a teacher, as an English teacher, Miss Hobbs, went to Eisenhower, also went to my church. So I shout out to New Hope Missionary Baptist. Well. That's my church home. And 15 years old, right at the prick of the first bloom. The first bloom was 15, yeah.
When I met you, when I first met you, you were dancing.
Yes. I was doing NAACP AXO, winning there, Dorothy Chandler Spotlight when I was 15, 16, or 14. Those years were kind of like that because I was like in the 9th grade at 14. When you're supposed to be like in 8th grade. So I was really, they go like this to me too. They just kind of go together.
Right. I understand.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about your upbringing?
Okay, well, I was from the west side of San Bernardino, California. Just to give you a quick, there's the story before my story. And my parents, my father being from DC, Brentwood, Maryland, to be exact, John D. Hobbs, rest in peace, he's no longer with us, was here being a city councilman and a economics and government teacher at Redlands High School, as well as I believe that he taught at PE at Valley College and whatnot. And my mom was from Georgia and 10 sisters and 3 brothers. She was in New York on her first marriage, 2 children, Harold and Karen. Karen's no longer with us. And she went from New York to here because my Aunt Anne was here. And when they met, they had me. So I have my brother Danny, everyone calls him John, on my father's first marriage side, and I have Karen and Harold and Lauren too on my mom's first marriage side. And when they got together, they had me. But when they got together, it was a lot like how it is today. Very 38, 40, 55, having a child. And in that time, it wasn't really popular to be having children that late. So I was this big surprise. And my Aunt Ann, every time my mom came over, she cried, how am I having this baby? I can't get too old and pregnant.
Well, it was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. She said, this baby's going to make you very proud. And so I came. And I have older siblings. My cousins are mostly to big brother, big sister, hanging age than my other brothers and sisters were.
Okay. All right.
So I was like this last baby all around all these grown-ups that were part of growing the city and growing the community. And my father was city councilman of the 6th Ward, and I believe Cheryl Brown and all these people and they all in the city of San Bernardino were always having these conversations around me about adult language, talking about how we're going to build the community, what are we going to do next. So I was always on that. Anyhow, for her flack and around that too.
So when did you first start dancing, Danielle? When did you first start dancing? How old were you?
I was about 3 or 4. I had too much energy. Okay. And my mom again said, I don't know what to do with her. She's dancing in the aisles of the grocery store to Veronica Martindale. But when I was growing up, her name was Tasha Nettles, and she was my dance teacher / babysitter. And Tasha Nettles took Miss Danielle everywhere and would teach me the snake and the funky chicken, and I would do it in public. And meanwhile, I was going to this school called Mother Goose, and they were teaching us poems called I Am a Proud Black Child, and I would recite it in public and on like picnic tables and embarrass my sister. So I said, what do I do with this kid? And she went to my pediatrician, Dr. Rogers, and he said, well, I'm not going to put you on any medication, Mrs. Hobbs. I'm going to first ask you to put her in a dance studio so you can get your time back. You go pay bills, work out, do what you need to do, and visit me in 45 days. 45 days, Smurf show, a Wizard of Oz, Little Monkey show. I figured at Valley College Auditorium how to woo the crowd. And I didn't do, from what the story my mom says, I did not do the combination. You know, when you're a little tot, your teacher's on the stage with you. I did my own thing, what Veronica Martindale taught me. So I did the snake, and I turned my little tail, and I turned back, and the crowd was like, look at this little girl. And yeah, that's how it all started.
It sounds like people fell in love with you. That's what happened. You found your you know, when people are cheering and everything for the cute things you're doing.
And
it's like, oh, okay, I'm doing this, and this is where, and people they're applauding. Why?
Yes. And I think being a late child, not having anyone around you your age, you kind of learn to play make-believe a lot. You know, a lot of dance shows in front of the stuffed animal.
Yes.
A lot of, you know, watching Debbie Allen fame and then go play Debbie Allen in the room. And it was a lot of fantasy life because I didn't have anyone around me for a very long time. And then I started going to dance school more consistently. And that was a place called Panache with Kenneth Green. They now are in Atlanta. Kenneth went to go be a professor at Spelman for dance.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Yes. So, and then they would have people come in and teach us, like Art Palmer, who was dancing for Janet Jackson, and Gigi Hunter, who Sandeha is wearing her dress because she turned into a clothing idol of clothing and whatnot, and she has her own clothing line. And that last Essence cover with Zendeja, she's wearing a Gigi Hunter dress.
Oh.
Gigi do jazz, and I'm like 7 doing jazz walks, and so all these people would come from LA, and they would like tell us how it was, and tell us how to walk, and tell us how to be dream girls. And I was like 7 or 10. And I was just always around people that were older than me. So I just adapted to it very, very, very easily because I loved it. I loved being on stage. I still do.
Oh, because I know too, I know you also were a dance studio in Riverside.
Yes. That came after, a little bit after my sister had passed from cancer.
Okay.
I was going to a studio in Upland called West Coast Performing Arts. And from Upland, I was like coming up with Tia and Tamara and Taj. And now they're Tia and Tamara. But we were all going to LA, doing little auditions. Tia and Tamara's mom had told my mom, "Look at that." But we just really didn't get into it like that. So we would go to Marla Gibbs on Saturday. And I would take my best friend at that time, Aisha, because she didn't have any people hanging around her either. She was too outgoing. So our moms met through the kitchen at the salon, and my daughter doesn't have any friends either. Oh, let's let them meet. Friends for like 20 years. But needless to say, we would go into LA, go to Marla Gibbs, go to Kids Incorporated. I would do extra work on Kids Incorporated whenever a school that's now not open, Paul Kennedy's, you're not rural, and they would be on Star Search all the time. You're not just like tapping upside down. And so whenever Yanaka or Dion was her name, was dancing on Kids Incorporated, was gone, they would ask me to come fill in. So that was my first bite of show business, was Kids Incorporated, long time ago. And then it went to Tremaine. But then when my sister got really ill, we had to stay home. And Aisha's mom had by then had found a place called Bree in Riverside. And that's how I ended up at Bree for the rest of my life. And Clifford Breland was really a master. You know, everyone needs one, a mentor master for he groomed us like we were already artists.
Oh, and you were minors, right?
We knew how to, and we knew how to be seen and present ourselves as dance artists. And my sister passed away while I was dancing there, believe it or not. And I just stayed there. I just stayed dancing. So that gift was very, very sent from God. Thank goodness. Having a praying grandmother and aunt and mom and everybody, that I didn't settle for the environment.
Okay.
And I was able to still keep up with the craft that was taken away from it all.
Well, I know.
And it naturally grew to be, now it's like food to me. I have to be creative no matter what I'm doing, because that when you're cut from that cloth, you know it.
Right. Oh yeah, creativity. Really, you can't be any other way now. You can't be any other way.
It's so important. You don't feel like you're doing your contribution.
Right.
If you are that tuned in to who you are.
Right.
You know it. And as I've grown up and had different professions, I've also realized that it always comes back to me in that dance line, putting that creativity into motion, because that's what God gave me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what, Danielle, too? You're creative. Dance is not the only area you're creative in. That's one of your creativity areas. It is the creativity area, because I know you also, well, before we get into your other creativity, in addition, you were in Bree Studios. And then you graduate from high school. You did something that is unusual for a lot of high school graduates. First of all, you graduated at what age?
16. 16.
That's young.
Yes, it is. And I didn't even know that I skipped first grade until I got older. And my mom told me about these maps. And evidently, they had a map assignment, and I was the only child in the classroom not working on mine. And when my teacher said, ask your parents, Danielle, to help you with the maps, I literally took out my map together in front of her face and shoved it back in my desk. Like, my map project is over. And she called my mom, like, what happened? And and then I had to just go to gate school. Where do we go? Hi, everybody. Hey.
How are you? She'll be back in a minute. I think she lost her signal for right now. So what are you doing right now? As far
Right
as
now,
what are you doing?
School and what I'm doing definitely right now. Right now, I am a teacher achievement guide. We call it achievement guide because we don't teach you how to memorize. We guide you to find out who you are.
Oh, that's wonderful. And how long have you been doing that?
A year and a half now. This is our second year. I'm at Garvey Allen STEM and Performing Arts Academy. It is a tongue twister to say it. We just call it GAPA STEM in Moreno Valley, California. And I teach 5th through 8th grade history, PE, health, and dance.
Wow.
So I do all grades 5th through 8th for PE, health, and dance. And I do 6th grade and 7th grade, 5th grade history. But it's fun. I mean, I have a good time. I have a really good time.
How did you know you wanted to choreograph and just not be a dancer? What was it? What made you think or know that you wanted to take that next level in your assignment?
You know, I always been pretty. What's next? What do I do next? I've always been progressive minded because of education. It just trained my mind to, like, you're supposed to graduate to something next. And when I graduated from college, and I had been teaching dance since I was 13. I was teaching dance at the dance school I went to. So I already knew how to choreograph, already put pieces on people that were older than me. I already had like solos on people that were older than me. And I like would get like best choreography awards. And I knew that I needed to dance to see everything going on because I'm very observative. But then I needed to choreograph if I wanted to choreograph in the different aspects that the dance community has for you. I definitely saw that there was a difference in choreographing a music artist, a rap artist, or choreographing a dance company or having a dance school. I got to see that very soon, the different character aspects. But I got my BA in dance, so I could choreograph, but most of it was concert dance.
Okay, that's fantastic. Let
me try
to Mary up. Her picture's gone, but maybe her audio's still here. Hold on one second.
Okay.
She's back! Yay!
Well, no, my audio. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you can't see me. So hold on.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa. I'm going to go out and come back in then. So hold on. So I'm going to let, that's my producer, Brian, that was talking.
Yeah.
So I'll go out, Brian, and come back. Thank you.
Okay. Always be ready, right?
Always be ready. Yeah.
That is. And so are you doing any training virtually now, or how are you doing training now?
I have actually been working on a couple of things. Mainly, I had a surgery. I had one of those dancer surgeries that you'll get when you wear point shoes all your life, but I didn't. But the surgery doesn't allow me to do virtual dance class.
Mhm.
But I've been watching my friends do it, and I've been able to observe. You know, you have to go. You can't get left behind.
Uh-huh.
And I'm really glad that I choose to be that way
Uh-huh.
because, you know, if this is the way that this is going to go, you got to figure out how to go with it and just stay ahead of the football. And you can't get like, oh, but I have a dance studio. Well, guess what? You now have a virtual one.
Yeah.
And I just am really good at just, okay, let's adapt.
Okay. Okay. Well, I know too, you have, Danielle, done a multitude as far as your dancing and traveling. How many countries have you traveled to due to dance? In other words, dance is taking you where?
My dancing has taken me to 15 countries. My first BA is in dance that I got at 19 years old. My dancing has taken me into many, many, many different aspects of dance, to even choreographing people that I just, at the spur of the moment, made something up and liked it. And if it had not been for my technique, that's what I tell my students when I'm teaching them, your technique will save you, where your
Right.
talent
Right.
will be like, leave you. And what I mean is, when you have technique, you can be injured and come back. It's just like an athlete. It's just like when LeBron James got that grand pull, I was like, you're gonna have to do some bar. You're gonna have to do some Pilates. You're gonna have to do some bar work.
Right.
Same thing. Your technique will keep you. And if you don't have one and you're just throwing yourself all over the place,
Right.
you tend to wear yourself out faster.
So it's discipline though that makes a difference then. Your discipline.
Yes.
Dance is a discipline.
It's a beautiful discipline. Out of all the disciplines, it's a beautiful discipline because it's energy, it's moving, it's moving through life, it's teaching people how to move, teaching people how to flow, and it's very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not as oratorical as singing and acting is,
Right.
but it teaches you how to move and how to come into a room and how to be in your element. And that's what dancing teaches people. That's why dancers are either extremely confident in a room full of people, or extremely, I don't know. Well, we're pretty much the one that can handle ourselves in a room full of people.
I've never seen a dancer that was not confident. I've never seen a dancer. Right. I'm not saying that there aren't, but I think the discipline encourages the confidence in you.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. At least that's been my observation with people.
Now it does do the other though. There's a tipping part where you got to keep your body right and you're just in front of the mirror all the time. But I'm glad that Cliff trained us in a way that understood our Black bodies. And the color, you're going to have bodies as we get older, and we had to understand that just from that perspective, that it's okay, that you're not going to be a size 1 for the rest of your life. You're going to get a little hips. You're going to have a couple of things, but we're going to learn how to work with it. We're going to learn how to work with it and not let you feel like you got to like do crazy things to stay skinny, because that's not what African American or a minority woman body's like. You know, I'm just getting into it because it took a while to catch up. But when my body became womanly, I was like, oh my goodness, is this what everyone was talking about? It's ready to carry a child, basically, is the best way to put it.
Right.
And that happens to us. And what are you going to do is not freak out. Own that and know that you're a woman. You're a woman now. You're a Black dancer. And Black dancers have curves.
Well, I know too, you've worked with some of the biggest, and I know we're going to do some name dropping here.
Go ahead.
You work with some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry. Um, why don't you name a few for me?
When I graduated from college, I started doing music videos. I had Usher. I had the Chocolate Nutcracker, which is still the Chocolate Nutcracker, the hot chocolate nutcracker. And that was my gift of opening me to all the LA kids. So the LA kids would come together and we would do the chocolate nutcracker. And my brother would pick me up. And they were nice to me when my brother would pick me up. But Leroy from Fame, Dean Anthony Fame, Shawnette Hurd, Danielle Ortiz, Robin Tasha Ford, Vern Reed, Debbie Allen, Major Goods, Little Sister, all the people. And I got drunk with them. And they were coming off of Janet Jackson tours and this and that. And I was like 15, like, oh God, I want to be just like you guys. When I grew up, they'd be mad. And so did Anthony Ray yelled at them at the Nutcrackers and leave Danielle alone, you mad because she a little girl and dancing like a girl.
Oh.
Leave her alone. And so I would always be the little baby. And then after I got around those people, I would start auditioning and whatnot. And a couple of choreographers for In Vogue did a movie with Queen Latifah called Living Out Loud. And that was kind of like the beginning of my dance career. And I walked up to him, his name's Frank Gasper. And I said, my name is Danielle Hobbs and I can dance. And I'm in college.
Uh-huh.
I'm really trying to finish.
Right.
And I meant it. And then I showed him. And then he kept me for many jobs with Usher and Reese, My Way. And then I met Fatima. And then from Fatima, I said the same thing to her. I said, I can dance. She said, I know. And then I went on to work with her to Smith, Wild Wild West. And that's when I met Stevie Wonder. It was 1999. And we did Snoop Dogg when he was trying to Master P. And I just hustled. The dance game is a hustle. Meet this person. What have you done? Okay, I like you. I like your flower. And that was a friend of mine, Joyce Van Hook from New York. She had just gone off tour with Mary J. Blige. And she just took me under her wing. Of course, being from New York, she needed a place to stay. So she stayed at my house.
Right.
By the Van Nuys Airport. And we just lived out of the suitcase. And it was just job to job to job. And it was so much fun. I mean, she would come from New York, and then I met Marilyn, and then I met another young lady that I forgot her name right now that used to work with Dance for the Backstreet Boys. And everybody knew each other from dancing, and I was just a new girl.
Yeah.
That just graduated from college. And Joyce would take me around Fatima, because, you know, one thing about the dance game is you get a lot of respect the more you're working. So when people see you working, they're like, oh, that was the girl that was right. So
yeah, I can see that.
It's very, very, it's a little sweet, you know. The more they see you, the more respect.
Well,
and after all the videos were done, I think I moved to New York, and that's when I started meeting more people face to face.
Well, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yes, it is.
And that's how you get to work. It's not. And so as we're talking today, there could be a young person watching the show. What advice would you give them if they're whether it be dance or any other creative, any other art that they're interested in? What advice would you give them to going forward in life?
Well, I don't want to sound too cliche, but I really have to say it is as simple as don't give up. I really believe in divine intervention. I believe in paying attention to what makes your heart glow.
Okay.
And if you have a dream,
right,
or in something that you really want for your life, you have to go for that. your thing. And I think a lot of times we don't, because we want the support from family, and not everybody's going to do that in your family.
Right.
And so you have to never give up on what God gives you, and you have to never give up the faith of it and the walk of it. It unfolds. But if you don't get started,
Yeah.
and you're listening to everyone else tell you how doomed you are,
Yeah.
what are you going to do with that?
It's true.
You got to keep going, even if it's so slow.
Yeah.
You
Which
gotta keep going.
normally it is. In the beginning, I think everyone feels that, and that's the place where a lot of people give up. Is because it is so slow, and it looks like it's never going to happen. So we're going by what we see, but not. But when you're, like you said, when you're dancing, you're putting energy out, and it's an energy into the universe.
Yes, we do that. I think Einstein, and I wrote it in my book, said that dancers are angels without their wings.
Ooh.
Yeah, because we're just so connected.
That's beautiful. And we haven't even begun to talk about, you have two things we have to touch on. One, your book, and the other one is you're executive producer for a movie too.
Yes, my first film, again, just keeping it going. But yes, this is my book. Talk about the book. And then I will give you the nature of how it all came about.
Hold it up. You want to see it. Hold it up so I can see it.
It's called I Dance, a simple handbook for starting a successful dance career.
All right.
I wrote it in 2009.
Okay.
After garnering much success, choreographing with Beyonce, a lady artist named Jackie O, choreographing on some signed artists that didn't come out, that was signed to like Welch. And I would dance and teach them how to dance, and then Clive Davis and them were like, yes, she's grown, but she's not a star. So I always wondered, what are you talking about that she's not a star? And he was like, I'm not paying for this album. So I figured from meeting Whitney Houston, I figured it was a presence.
Okay.
Teach that presence. Well, I've learned you can't really teach it. It's something to develop.
Let me ask, there's one particular dance you did for Beyonce. Do you remember what that song was? You did
Baby Boy. Yeah, that was a serendipitous moment. I was in Miami for another artist under Frank and Lavelle Smith.
Okay.
They played a song for me. I was like, ooh, that's Arabian. And I was like, that is so not. And they had let me know that they were struggling with this first album, getting things shot and done. Tina, who I love and would always sit down and talk with about prayer and abundance and knowing who you are in show business.
Right.
She would always, pray with me and talk about the power of prayer and how important it was. So she was praying that they would work and let Beyonce have her album, because they were like, we don't have a hit on this album, and Crazy in Love did great, but not as good as we wanted. So Baby Boy came along, and they were not trying to have it. They're like, you got to film it in Miami. We're not going to the Bahamas. No. So I was like, oh, I wasn't down for it. So then I had a knee problem. They went to go get me some knee pads. When they came back, I was like, I made this up. And then they were like, oh, that's the solo she should do.
Wow.
And then he took me, and then he said, she really likes female energy around her. So she may ask you to come and teach it to her. Lavelle could have totally taught it.
Okay.
But she wanted a female around her. So I came and taught it. And just being in my truth, I understood what the stakes were.
Right.
I'm not going to be, I've never been a person to not want to see somebody shine, especially someone as beautiful, as talented as she is. I'm just like, whatever.
Right.
So I taught it. And it ended up being an extremely big step forward for her in terms of the company. I don't know how the companies totally work, but I do know that they're big on artists and new things, and
Right.
we know you as this, but we don't know you as that. We might make it a little bit harder for you than we
Right.
but she totally sucked it up and ended up having 5 hits and shot up the stars.
All right.
That Baby Boy solo was really fun and just kind of one of those things. And then the second time I worked with her for Deja Vu, I got to meet my Clay Big Brother. I always called him Big Brother because my brother and him are Sagittariuses. So when he came on the set, and I was like, your music kind of raised me. I'm like the only one that was listening to Reasonable Doubt, dude. And the Roots too. But I was like totally happy about it and just really, really focused about it.
You know what? I didn't hear the name that you said. Who was it?
Oh, when her husband came to do Deja Vu because he had a rap on it. And we were in Louisiana after Katrina, and I was just like, see what happens when you just do what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
It's just fall in your lap.
Yeah.
You know, and when I serve or when I choreograph or when I teach from my heart.
Right.
You
in addition to that too, you did the movie. You also did the show.
Yeah. You're not going to get anywhere just trying to be shallow about it. I really didn't go all the way. And then it made some beautiful noise. And then, you know, reinvention time, as Madonna and the Jacksons would say. Every artist has to have it.
Right.
And now she's Queen, Beyonce, avant-garde. But I say this to say the truth is, in the Baby Boy commercial, I spoke to her a lot about having power behind you dancing. That's why you're doing this dance. It's not about just shaking your butt and looking cute. It's a goddess solo. And now it's like Black is King, and now these all new things. I'm like, it's so fun when you find out things come full circle. Paying the whole time. Everybody's getting it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And it's not too much.
Right.
Not too much to be a powerful performer.
In addition to, your movie was it shot this year or was finished?
Yes, it was shot this year and it's in post. It is called Amethyst Girl, the stone of my birthstone. I'm Aquarius. Aquarius is out there. You know who they are. Michael Jordan, Alicia Keys, Oprah.
Well, you can add my husband.
Yeah, and it's my baby. It's about, again, waking up to that gift that you bring. And I think I wrote the story because I wanted to write something about people passing torches. Here today, people say, you know, Maya Angelou passed the torch to you. He passed the torch to you. God gave you a gift. What are you going to do with it? I didn't ask who you're going to work with.
Right.
I said, what are you going to do with it? So that's Amethyst Brown in a nutshell.
Oh.
And it's dance and it's fun. And I'm really proud of her. She's a short film, and it's about a girl that is learning to walk in her gift and her calling, which is always, in this time, a little shaky.
Oh, but you know, I think if living on that edge of the being afraid and doing it anyways, they call it doing the scary. And I think really you've done that your whole life, Danielle. If you think about it.
Yes, I have.
That is, I mean, and even now, as you're training young minds, as somebody once trained you, you're passing all that information on to these young people. You're imparting into them your discipline, your love for the art, your love for life. All of those as gifts to the next generation.
And it's needed. I think right now, coming out of COVID, coming out of such a circumstantial way of doing life,
Right.
it makes me happy to be able to articulate it
Right.
in a way that children can understand when I'm teaching them in the classroom.
Oh yeah. Well, you're bringing you're bringing a wealth of experiences and knowledge about life and about the things that you have experienced. All of that is coming to the classroom. It doesn't stay outside that door. It comes in with you. So
Yes.
talking to those kids, even you're telling the people that you've met that some of them probably can't even believe it.
Some of them can't, and they try to get on me sometimes. I love this child. I don't want to say her name though because she is a minor, but at Kappa Step, I have a little diva. She's in the 8th grade. I love her to death. She doesn't even know it. I think she's amazing. She says, how come people aren't like following you? So how come should I follow you on Instagram? I'm like, what? And how do you know this? You know, tell me so much. Like they let me know they're watching.
I do want to acknowledge our listeners that are making comments. We do want to acknowledge you. I saw Deborah make a comment. I saw Inoko make a comment, and anyone else that I missed. We do want to acknowledge your comments. Thank you for all of you.
Yes.
So, if you have a question for Danielle, you can. And those of you, I think you have to be on YouTube in order to type questions in. I think you may.
Okay.
But they can put questions and comments in. So thank you. We do appreciate you, audience. So as you're talking, that young lady, when she was saying that to you, was saying based on your experiences, that's what she was basing it on. Why isn't your oh yeah, okay. You can do both. You can type it on YouTube and you can type it on Facebook. You can type your questions on either of those, which is that she was saying, oh, please stay in your truth. Okay, thank you, Noko. She said,
thank you, Noko. I see. Oh, I see it. It's right there.
And then Deborah had a comment. I really missed the comment. She had wrote a comment, Deborah Moore, earlier. Here it is. Mary, you're consistently delivering quality, relevant information. Danielle performed at one of their Sigma Gamma Rho sorority and Theta.
I sure did. Hi, Mrs. Moore. I sure did. I did my one-woman show, hero show.
Oh, and they they remember.
I do a dance to a Barack Obama speech, and I went on to do it at USC and take it for him and family when they were leaving office. Just say like, oh, what a wonderful job! Look, I created a dance for you, and I still talking to Black Lives Matter. I still am the only one that's done that. But that's the art.
That is the art. That creativity never leaves you. It is always. And as like you said, you started with dance, but think about now you're making motion pictures. But you initially started with dance as your creative outlet. But now you're an author. I don't know did you write your own script for your short?
I did.
So you're a screenwriter, you're an executive producer. Those are big titles to have. They're not, that's a lot of growth that's gone into you with every single way. So I just want you to know, Danielle, that I'm proud of you. We're proud of you. We're proud that you're from this community. You're from the IE. You're one of our own. You are from San Bernardino, but I consider you, even though I'm not in San Bernardino, I'm in Riverside, but still you're from the Inland Empire. So you continue to contribute to the community. I saw you recently at Woody Rucker Hughes. You were dancing. I was live streaming it. Giving back. You're still giving back to the community. It is never, I think that's who you are. I think.
Yes. Yes. I think that you have to do that to be a leader. There's a give and a take juggling act. A real leader is not a person that is all about look at me, look what I'm doing now, me, which was what can help. What social media does to our young minds.
Right.
And me oriented, That's why my student asked me that question.
Uh-huh.
But little did she know, I said entertainers don't put their real names. So you really don't know. But it makes me oriented, and I am give because I really do believe that you get back what you give.
Yes.
I've
Yes.
experienced it, and I just live in that. And sometimes it gets coronavirus, no. But then sometimes I know I'm just gonna know I'm gonna be all right.
Right.
I know that there's a calling on my life, and God would never let me settle for anything beneath it.
Oh, well, I tell you, you are a blessing. You've always been a blessing, and you continue to bless everyone around you. I can just, and this is from, like you said, someone who's known you, just watched you grow up. You've always been outgoing, fun-loving. I don't think I've ever seen you, this is the truth, Danielle, that you didn't have a smile on your face. I don't think I've ever seen it. You've always been that way.
The birthday party. You came to my birthday party.
I did, but you still had a smile.
Yes, that was the only time you probably saw me like without a smile, but we really, really were happy to be there. I can't believe I was able to pull that, and you guys came, made me so feel. I'd like to be a blessing because I feel blessed by other people's presence.
Oh,
Alone. And sometimes their presence is just such a gift to me that I know I'm okay.
Well, now that's your website, dreamitdoitdannygirl.com.
Yeah, it's dreamitdoitdannygirl.myshopify.com. It is a Shopify store.
So we're going to change that for you. So we're going to take .com and put the Shopify. I don't know if you heard that, Brian. It's Shopify.com. I'm sorry, I'm there.
Yes, in the middle. It's dreamitdoitdannygirl.myshopify.com, and that's where you can get the book. You can get the book, or you can get the book from lulu.com because it is self-published. Yes, there it is. It is a self-published book.
Lulu?
Lulu.com.
Is it on Amazon also?
I don't have it on Amazon yet. I'm working on it. Yes.
Okay. So those of you that are interested in getting the book, and now on the movie, where will the movie be online? Will it be? How will we be able to a chance to see the movie?
Well, my team that produced it, Reggie Gaskins, Holla at Your Boy Productions, has inquired. They've done 4 movies this year. So I'm going to sit down. Of course, half of it will be virtual, but there has to be a moment that the cast and the crew can intimately get together with social distance. So we're working on that now.
Okay.
I was really happy to do the film also because I got to connect a lot of new talent.
Okay.
People like I knew Reggie for a while now, and he's an NAACP nominated director for his movie The Lying Truth. Okay. But I hadn't known until I got actors in the room how many people were like, oh my God, I get to work with him. I was like, okay.
Well, I can tell you, Danielle.
You know, I always love that. I do like that it goes like that. Yeah. Like, I don't mind being the connector. I don't mind it.
Unfortunately, we are near the end of the show, so I want you to be able to say a few last words before we close the show out. Is there anything you want to tell anyone? We have about 30 seconds to let them know, a young person, to encourage them. Any last words?
I'll use my words that I use on my students right now, because you can teach on stage, you can teach on screen, you can teach in the classroom. A teacher, a now-born teacher is a teacher and a healer. And I would just say, we all have something inside us that God gave us, and we are supposed to let it out. And if you do not serve the world and be of service with your gift, if you don't find out what that is, you'll be not only giving God a disservice, but you'll also be a disservice for yourself. Because you're here to live.
Thank you.
Just on purpose by paying attention to your.
Thank you so much. Will you come back again?
I would love to, and then we'll have no technicalities.
I know. It was a couple, and I think the rain has something to do with it, but I'm really not sure. But thank you for coming. Yeah, we really do appreciate it. I love you, and I
love you.
all right.
All right. Happy Kwanzaa.